Welcome to a very, very special episode of Over Ask. Today is a big day. It's a very, very big day for everybody, everybody in the real estate industry. We have second repeat guest Byron Lazine on the program. Byron is, well, he's just incredible. I'm gonna give it to Byron. Yeah, the first time we had Byron on, I didn't really know who he was. I thought he was gonna be like, some jerk who's just telling you to like make more money. Yeah, but as you can tell with his winners win, losers lose poster in the back, he's anything but that. Byron, thank you so much for being on. We have a lot to get into, but for our listeners who may not know you, which I think is few and far between at this point, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, on this huge epic day in real estate, whether your last name's Ferry, Leonetti, Simon, if anyone knows that name in the real estate, it's just a huge day for everybody in the industry. We'll get into that, I'm sure, a little bit. A little bit about me. Been in real estate since 19, buying houses young, making every mistake in the book. Actually went bankrupt in my mid-20s in real estate, was the classic story of the mortgage crisis. Went for it all with no education. That was my Ivy League degree in real estate. And then got into real estate sales 2012 in Connecticut when the market was at its all-time low in that state. Started building a team, and that team is still in production today. Well, actually, I didn't start that team in 2012. Started one team, built another one, and the current team they'll do over 1,000 transactions a year. They're rocking and rolling, and then we're working on something that is going to change. That is changing because we have launched today the real estate industry as we know it.
And Byron, what is it called?
It is, well, it's behind me if you're watching. Bam.
That's right.
Broke Agent Media. So do we want to jump right into that, boys? What do we want to do?
Yeah, we want to set the table a little bit as far as how we met Byron and how this came to be, why we partnered on this, why Matt's involved, and kind of the game plan for what the biggest real estate media company in the world is going to be.
Matt, the last time we told this story of how we met, me and Eric got into our first fight ever, our first argument.
On the Pineda podcast.
On the Pineda podcast. Yeah, because Eric remembers it way differently than I do.
I think you're right, actually.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll skip that part, and we'll go. Basically, we our first time meeting face-to-face anyways was Inman Connect in New York at the Marriott Marquis. These are all facts, right, Eric?
Correct. All facts.
Yes. And we met up at the lobby bar. Yeah, if you've been to the Marriott Marquis, they've done Inman there for a number of years. And there's one big, huge lobby bar. And we met over there anyways. Eric was at, I don't know, were you maybe a year in or less than that with the broke agent?
I had started the broke agent about a year and a half prior to that.
Yeah.
So I wasn't speaking at this conference or anything. I think Wes and I, who I started the broke agent with, we were Inman ambassadors, which is the last time they ever invited us back to that conference.
Now, Byron, did you know of Eric? Did you know of the broke agent at this point?
Well, that was like my first introduction, and maybe there was, some online introduction a little bit prior to that. But that was my real awareness was when we met face to face, which I think we traced that back to 16, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2016. I was doing a panel. We ended up hanging out a bunch of after parties, and we just became friends from that point forward. Eric's been working obviously on the broke agent brand for 7 years now, Eric. 7 long grinding years building that brand. And over those years we became conference friends and internet friends, and we started hanging out probably 2 or 3 times a year at these different conferences. During the last 5 years, as well as the real estate business, I've built a media company that was not front facing like the broke agent. It was a lot of client work. So we were, employees, writers, video producers, editors, graphic designers, and we were doing a bunch of client work. So we were behind the scenes media company. We had a huge asset, obviously, in talent there. And Eric has a huge asset with the broke agent brand.
But no talent, just the brand, right?
And Eric is very talented. Eric's one of the most talented writers in the entire industry. maybe the most talented writer, and the
we
captain of clicks.
We've released like 3 blogs so far.
They're
the jury is still out.
As of hearing this podcast, there are officially 3 blogs that have been released.
Dr. Klickstein.
Dr. Klickstein, for sure. And so
Jewish.
We had 2 different, essentially media companies that fit with each other perfectly. If we were going to take this to the next level and create BAM, which is what we've done. Today's day 1, baby. And this is going to change the way people consume their information in real estate. We're throwing around the word edutainment a lot. Obviously, Matt, you've been working on this with us. The word edutainment is a big thing we talk about. And then the other little secret is we look at ourselves as the bar stool of real estate. And there's a huge place in this industry still today. Obviously, this is an obvious statement for Inman News. We have massive respect for Inman, Housing Wire, the work that they're doing, but we think there's a huge space that's not being filled for what we do, which is social first, podcast shows. We do have the blogging site that launched today, but we're tying it all together in the way that the majority of agents, team leaders, indie brokerages are consuming their information.
And it's funny.
And it's hilarious.
Well. The thing we have over every other real estate media company is the edge, is the talent, is the different types of podcasts and shows. But I want to rewind a little bit as this idea kind of came to be. It's not like we just said, hey, let's start a media company. It really started back with the Broke News Network was kind of my first front-facing thing other than posting like memes and tweets and doing like the occasional skit. So Ben Fisher and I did this kind of during the summer of the pandemic, and it was kind of like an SNL style 9 to 15 minute, which is so long to even think about it, IGTV show where we covered real estate news and marketing tips. But Ben and I didn't know anything about real estate news. So we were basically scrambling every morning to read Inman, read Housing Wire, and try to like articulate what was going on. But that was a huge hole in my game, was the real estate news. And Byron is like a savant with, consuming the news and articulating it in a fashion that's very like consumable for the average person. And then Matt, it further evolved when you and I started this podcast. And that's kind of like the first facet of the media company before we even combined with Byron, was like, okay, people actually enjoy listening to us other than just seeing our skits and memes, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Byron's a really good anchor to all of this, because he really anchored, because we're kind of lunatics, especially when it comes to like news and stuff. I don't think people really want to hear, you're not from us. But when someone can articulate it like Byron and some other talent that's going to be part of BAM, I think they're really going to, find it useful, get a kick out of it, and be entertained the whole time.
Yeah, and I love talking about it. Eric said real estate savant. I don't know about that, but definitely a real estate nerd. Love what's going on with this industry, the way it's evolving, and, talking about that news and information, the informed agents that, have this information, that are able to like digest it quickly, can get it quickly. They're going to be, in the game a lot longer. There's definitely, we're at the most agents right now, 1.6 million agents ever in the history for National Association of Realtors. I don't know what it is in Canada, Matt, but for National Association of Realtors, it's 1.6 million. It's the most ever. And there's going to be agents that drop out, right? And there's definitely like there's a wealth transfer happening. There's also a power transfer of agents that is happening right now. Some realize it and some don't. But
what the hell does that mean? What's a power transfer?
Yeah, right. So meaning that the average age of real estate agents is 58 years old.
Still.
The average age of an agent is 58 years old in the US. And so you've got a lot of agents that had power back when Zillow didn't exist and Instagram, you couldn't generate, like you guys just had Paige Steckling on a couple pods ago, unbelievable podcast. Look at what she's done with her business through Instagram, with the way she markets herself. The power agents, or the big brands, the legacy agents, as I call them, they don't use Instagrams. I shouldn't say all of them, but very few amount of that age group and up is using Instagram the way Paige is using Instagram, the way Matt's using Instagram to get more business. And the agents that are leaning into that, seeking that information, mixing the data, like, Keeping Current Matters provides and all these great companies, into their messaging and doing it in a way that people want to consume it, they're going to be the agents that grab all of the power, because I think we're going to need actually less agents. Right now we're at the most, but we'll need less going forward with the way teams are taking over and the sophistication of the business that's happening right now.
More agents, more followers for us, though. So
we'd love more agents.
I want those numbers to keep pumping up.
Listen, I'm a big believer in let's keep getting new agents into the business, because there is such huge opportunity. There is so much business for everybody. If you listen to like what Zillow believes or Proppy, talked to the CEO of Proppy recently, like they believe we're going to get into a world where right now it seems crazy because there's no inventory, but a world where we're going to be able to transact a lot faster, which is going to equal more transactions. So you could make the argument with more transactions, doubling transactions per year, that we would have a need for more agents. I think right now, until we get there, let's get as much new blood as we can into the industry. It is such a great career for so many that don't realize it. You don't need a college degree, all these types of things, and see who sticks, see who's really committed to it, see what type of new energy we can get. So I'm a big believer in jacking those numbers up. And I know Eric would like some more followers on the BAM account.
We all would. Yes.
We all would like that.
I think the huge influx of new agents also is a representation of this industry has gotten cooler. I remember in 2012, 13.
Matt made it cool.
Matt made it very cool.
Thank you.
$1 Million listing also made it cool.
I think I made it.
Yeah, just Matt actually.
Yeah,
Sirhan had a little to do with it.
Yeah, a little bit, I guess.
The $1 Million listing, it really glamorized the business. And then I think social media really made it more attainable for people when they said, oh, I could actually market myself in a different way. I'm not just going to go the traditional cold calling, door knocking, sitting open house route. And now you're going to get way more talented people like Matt, like Dan O'Neill, like Paige, that are content creators that see this huge opportunity to grow their real estate business by doing something fun and creative. So I think it's just going to continue to get better and better from an agent perspective.
Yeah. And you're seeing it in the reverse too. Like Matt's best friend, Grant Cardone, he was a content creator. Now his wife's an agent because of the influence. And it's like, wow, huge opportunity to go 10X our brand again and get into real estate.
Yeah, they're at he's going to be writing 50X pretty soon. That guy's on a whole new level. I mean, I can't but it's true. And it's like, I feel like it's less greasy. Like, I feel like for a long time, there was such a bad stigma around real estate agents. Like it was greasy, just like another car salesman type deal. I feel like with this new age of promoting yourself and creating content, it's not that anymore. It's fun. And it's more of an influencer role than like a greasy car salesman.
Yeah, you got to get attention in this business. Got to get people to like, trust, and know who you are before you even get them to like and trust you. And you're going to have a much better shot at getting them to know who you are if you're putting out a ridiculous amount of content that hits with your base over and over again. I still believe you've got to do some of this traditional stuff, because at the end of the day, Matt puts out a great video. He gets a call. He's got to get on the phone with this client and convert. So you still need to know how to convert. I think the conversation, to your point, Matt, is much different. It doesn't have to be greasy. They're calling you, obviously, based off of your listing video because they like your style. So you can just get right into a real flow with them. There is value to scripts, obviously, when you're working online leads to get conversion up. But it doesn't have to, it can be a lot more real and authentic than I think 80 scripts were.
Yeah. It still has to be nurtured. And that's what I was just saying on another pod. Like, very rarely does someone call me because I did a video and they're like, I want you to list my house. Like, you start a conversation. That's what your content should be. That what your goal should be is starting conversations. And then you have to nurture a lead like any other lead. And, Instagram's like a database, and that's how you should treat it. And it was funny you said, attention. You need to get the attention. A lot of people say that to me in a negative way. They're like, well, Matt, you're just attention seeking. And I'm like, of course I'm attention seeking. I'm seeking.
I've never heard
attention.
anybody say anything bad about you, Matt.
Yeah. Well, I guess as it grows, Eric warned me as it keeps growing, there's going to be some trolls.
Eric,
but for the most part, it's pretty nice. Like, I think I'm a pretty likable person in general. So like, I'm just like a nice guy.
Yeah. You just spoke at that Buzz conference and got swarmed, no pun intended, by people.
Yeah.
He said it took like 45 minutes to walk 2 minutes.
Yeah. It was
You're a rock star now.
Yeah. It was very, thank you everyone who came up. It was nice.
I mean, 9 out of 10 times when the brand comes up, Matt, people are bringing your name up. Everybody loves you. I mean, you're a very likable guy.
Well, it's funny. Sometimes I'll check when people are commenting on your guys' stuff, and I'll check if they follow me, or they'll comment on Over Ask, and I'll check, and they'll follow you guys and not me, and I'll be like,
yeah,
and they'll be like, I love the podcast. I'll be like, you love the podcast. Well, you don't like me, or what's going on here?
Yeah, Matt and I, when we're looking for guests, sometimes I'll send Matt like a name, and Matt will check to see if they follow him, and if they don't, Matt will be like, "No, we don't want to have him on the podcast."
Well, I mean, if
you want to be on, you have to follow Matt Leonetti on Instagram. So everybody
it goes both ways. You can't just come on the #1 real estate podcast of all time and not follow both the hosts.
Exactly, that is true. It's insulting.
I know a pretty big real estate IG account that has bots asking people to follow along. So you could do that, Matt. You could create an Over Ask bot that, says, hey, have you followed Matt Leonetti yet?
That's
true. I don't know if you guys have ever gotten those.
Byron,
DMs.
Which account are you referring to? Say a name.
I'll ask Ricky later, but
there we go.
Are you talking about Ricky, your brother, or Ricky Caruth, Matt?
I don't know. Who knows? My brother.
I know. Your brother Ricky's a great guy too, by the way. I love
great guy. Do you know? Fun fact: his full name's Ricky Rocco Ralph Leonetti.
That is an.
He's
epic
a 2 middle name guy.
Yeah, double middle name.
Brady's a 2 middle name guy. Tom Brady.
Is he? Oh, Ricky hates Tom Brady.
Edward Patrick Brady Jr. and he's got the junior, so he's got that on there.
Ricky actually created the logo back there, right?
Ricky created the logo.
He did. Well, he created the BAM logo.
He created the BAM logo. He created the site that everybody should be visiting, which is brokeagentmedia.com.
Yeah,
he is an integral part of this company. So, Byron, I want to get into BAM and what to expect from BAM. So what do we have going on show-wise, blog-wise, and contributor-wise?
Well, Over Ask is the leadoff hitter. Every Monday, Over Ask, switching from Tuesdays to Monday. Matt, were you aware of that switch?
Yeah. I was made aware yesterday at our Over Ask meeting.
Right. That's why we had to film this immediately. So Over Ask is on Mondays. Table setter, juicing the algorithm, as Eric likes to say. I've
never said that before in my life. No, that's psychotic. That's weird. That sounds like I'm like, pleasuring the algorithm or something like that, which is certainly not the case. Although I would do.
If he could, he would.
If I could, I most certainly would. And so we're going to lead it off on Mondays. Let's just call it Marketing Mondays. Not
Marketing Mondays. Ooh, I like that. Marketing Mondays with Over Ask.
Creator Mondays.
Tuesdays is the real word, which we are into 200. Tomorrow will be 218 episodes of that pod, and that had to stay on Tuesdays because of the news content. Mondays is typically a pretty weak day, or a lot of the news will come out late in the day, Monday and into Tuesday morning. So that one is recorded day of, posted day of. Wednesday is probably the most hilarious show in real estate of all time, Between Two Lockboxes with Dan O'Neill. If you haven't seen the trailer to that yet, go on the BAM IG account. Or on the Between Two Lockboxes IG account, even better. And the trailer's up there. Those are only 5-7 minutes too. So those quick, consumable,
quick hitting. Dan O'Neill launches a flurry of questions at guests, puts them in the hot seat, industry giants, as we describe it in the description. And basically he just peppers them with hilarious questions, would you rathers, makes them uncomfortable. Really, you're going to see the guests that we have on, Over Ask and The Real Word and Byron's podcast, and you're going to see them in a completely different light on Dan's podcast. Plus, he's not just going to do real estate people as well. He's
and easily consumable.
Marketing adjacent. Exactly.
Because this is short.
So fired up about this because it's just, the clips are hilarious. Like as far as just the 15-second reels and TikToks that he's going to post, it's just going to be it's going to be the funniest podcast in real estate, I think.
Yeah.
Besides ours.
It's going to be a clip king. Thursdays is the walkthrough. So that's going to be a rotating cast of characters with myself and Eric, and we're always going to have 2 guests on that show. So Keeping Current Matters is a sponsor there. So we're going to have David Childers joining us, president of Keeping Current Matters, a few times. And we're going to have a whole bunch of other guests, and we're going to be talking about everything that's happening that week, the most trending topics. I know we've already been batting around some topics here for this Thursday, and so look for that one every single Thursday. I'm really excited about that. Obviously, you guys will see Matt Leonetti on there a few times, and I think this week it's Taya and Dan, but we'll continue to rotate through guests there. Whole bunch of different contributors that are going to be a part of that. So that's going to be really exciting. And then Fridays is the Byron Lazine podcast. This Friday, Spencer Raskoff, former CEO of Zillow. And Matt, I asked him if he was the current CEO of Zillow, would he start buying brokerages? So he gives the real answer. He doesn't shy away from it. So excited about that. That's more of the CEO or top team leader type of guess on that one.
Leading off with a real heavy hitter, Spencer Raskoff.
Yeah, he's a big time heavy hitter.
Yeah,
funny story is when we did the pod, we went to his house. We went to Spencer Raskoff's house.
Well, I was there for maybe 3 seconds, and then I stood outside in the parking lot and just practiced my golf swing while Byron did the podcast. But
you stand in front or behind the moat?
Nice seriously. House? It was gorgeous house.
Castle.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
A gorgeous
We'll drop
house.
the address in the description.
Yeah, we will not drop the address at all. But yes, we go to Spencer Raskoff's house, the former CEO of Zillow. And Eric was so rude. He said, I need to take a call outside. He stood out in the driveway and just did circles, making cold calls to absolutely nobody for sponsors for BAM. Wouldn't even come inside. The guy made fresh juice, and Eric just turned.
Oh, that's why you called. That's why you called me for an hour and a half that day.
Yeah,
exactly.
I was wondering.
Exactly.
He wasn't even talking.
Yeah, I mean, I've made so many Zestimate jokes at this point. I figured that he didn't even want me in his house.
Eric thought he was just gonna burn and die.
Exactly. Yeah, I let
walking
Byron
in there.
That one.
Okay, so those are the shows. What else? What else is BAM offering here? What else do we got?
Yeah, if you read content about real estate, you're going to want to go on brokeagentmedia.com every single day. There's always going to be a new upload for you in multiple categories. Eric, do you get the categories right in front of you?
I got them in my head because I don't. Yeah. We've been working on this for 3 months. Unlike you, I have a photographic memory. Yeah, for 3 months, for 3 years. We have the housing market. We have agent marketing, which is going to be tactics written by me, written by Jason Cassidy, other great contributors, which is basically a lot of what we talk about here, Matt. Social media tips, Instagram, how to crush TikTok, what to do on Facebook groups. So it's going to be, and it's all written in a really funny, digestible way with examples of these actual posts. So I'm really excited about that. And then we have agent tactics, where we have contributors like Tom Toole, who's actually going to be talking about objections and actual tactics for agents to make their business better, which is something I certainly cannot touch upon. What is that? Housing market, agent marketing, agent tactics, humor, which is just general stories. Dan O'Neill writes about selling his first house and the nightmare and the anxiety that occurred because of that. And then what else do we have, Byron? Got it up right here.
News, humor.
News. That's right. Of course. The number one thing.
Housing market, marketing, and tactics. So nice thing about this is there's no paywall, right? So if you want to, some of the social media hacks, since this is the marketing podcast, some of the social media hacks, the tactics, the marketing tips that are on these blogs, most people are charging for this type of information out there. There's absolutely no paywall. You don't have to, have a monthly subscription to BAM. You're just getting this content and you can put it right into your business. It's really, really good stuff.
Yeah. So, go for it, Eric.
No, go ahead. No.
Not really a question, just a statement. One of the best things about BAM to me is we've kind of found a couple of the best people in every aspect of the industry, whether it's selling, news, humor, content creation, marketing, and are, working towards the same end goal and just producing content that everyone's going to like. There's going to be something for everyone on BAM.
Exactly. It's not just humor and marketing. It's not just what Matt and I do. Like Byron and the team we have of contributors is bringing just so much variety of content and value and agent education and edutainment. And we forgot to mention that we have the funniest real estate course that is coming out.
I'm so
on
excited
launch
about
day
it
as well, which is today. And
unlike any other course,
it really is. It's everything that I wanted as a real estate agent. Everything your broker didn't teach you, everything continuing ed doesn't teach you, everything real estate school didn't teach you, which is everything. This course has it. I teach Instagram. Byron teaches basically everything else. We have Ben Fisher, who I did BNN with, who teaches, open house follow up and how to set up your open house. But it's basically like how to not look like an idiot your first 5-10 years in real estate and how to actually crush. And Matt plays the role of someone who's actually consuming the course as this agent, and it's hilarious.
It's starring role.
Yeah.
Matt Leonetti makes sure that you will never doze off ever during this course. Or, not that you would anyways, but Leonetti makes sure of that in his starring role of consuming the content as you are.
Matt, I'm stopping the podcast.
Okay.
Guess what I was doing today?
What?
Scrolling through real estate Facebook groups to get content. But instead of content, I got something else. You know what that was?
No.
The same question over and over again. What is the best real estate CRM?
Yes. This is the most frequently asked question in real estate agent history, Eric. Don't you know that?
No chance.
Well, I'm going to let you know a little secret here, so come close, all right? The people have spoken, and the answer is unequivocally Boomtown. Boomtown is the #1 user-rated real estate CRM with all of the tools and tech you need to generate and convert conversation-ready leads. To check out Boomtown and see how you can score $750 in free digital advertising, visit boomtown.ry.com/overask. Now that's Boomtown, ROI.com/overask.
The best part about this course exactly is just every, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, there's some hilarious clip. So you're just constantly engaged with it. And it's really that aspect of the edutainment, of the humor, that's going to allow people to grasp this content and this knowledge so much more than the average real estate course or sales course or, all the other bullshit courses that you take from YouTubers. Basically, this is a game changer.
When we have our first BAM event, maybe even an award show down
the Bammies.
The Bammies,
yeah.
We're gonna go heavy because of what Matt did with this course. We're gonna go heavy comedy. Like our events are gonna be really like going to a Netflix special. They are gonna be hilarious events. Yeah. So those are coming. Those are coming.
I mean, word is on the street that I'm up for a Bammy for my role in this course. Yes. So
you're going to win every award, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, Leonetti.
Okay, the first person
and you're hosting
the award. Yeah.
You're also hosting the Bammies too, so you'll just be giving it to yourself.
So you can slap yourself across the face.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Hosting and winning.
No, but it's going to be, I'm super stoked on the course. I mean, like you said, Eric, it's something I always wanted. There's so many kind of dry courses, if any courses out there. And now it's like, you're going to get so much great content. And then you're almost just like, even if there is a part where you're just like you're getting a little bored or you're kind of dozing off, you're almost waiting for me to come back in once we establish my part. So you're just like almost waiting for like a cut. And it's kind of fun to see when it's going to come.
Yeah, once Byron starts talking about lead pillars and you're about to just pass out, Leonetti comes in. It's fantastic.
No, it is. And we'd love for people to invest, obviously, in the course or invest for their agents into the course. But BAM is going to offer so much stuff that has no paywall attached that you can just get and put right into your business, which is really exciting because a lot of the sponsors we've aligned with, like Boomtown, the sponsor of this pod, or KCM, they really want to make sure that the agent is equipped with the tools of today and is able to grow their business month over month and continues to get better. We believe in that same mindset, of course, but we want to do it in a really, really fun way. And I think BAM keeps you informed on the industry, and it also keeps it very entertaining.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, we have kind of something for everyone, and I'm so stoked on it. I can't wait. And it's just gonna, like, this is just literally just the beginning. Like, there's gonna be so much more things added, and as we keep going on, and
the contributors too are going to grow. I mean, we're already at like 25 or something right now, just from blogs and videos and podcasting. But the more I scroll on social media, the more I see all these talented creators, like the Property Brothers-in-law, who I think have been making videos for a while, Matt, but are absolutely crushing like TikTok and Reels right now. They're hilarious. So we want to recruit these people and help blow them up as well. Get them followers, get them clout, help their businesses. But in turn, we get content for BAM. So anyone out there listening to this podcast, if you want to write for us, if you want to produce videos, if you're into podcasting, you're good on the mic, or you have any sort of, creative ideas that you think you could help us and we could help you grow with our platform, please hit us up, because we want to grow this thing.
And we use the reference Barstool a lot because, I mean, this is what Barstool's done throughout the years. They've grown great talent. You think of like Pat McAfee before he had the Pat McAfee show. He started with Barstool, or Call Her Daddy. What's Alex Cooper?
Yeah.
Right. Before she signed her big deal with Spotify, she was on the Barstool. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. And so we're not guaranteeing anybody 60 million out here, but we are guaranteeing that if you're in this niche of real estate, then we're going to be able to help expand your reach by being a part of BAM. And so, yeah,
and this is ground level. So, I mean, get in at ground level. Obviously you have to be good, or, you're not going to be getting a podcast, or we're not going to use your blogs if you suck. So
Correct.
Like, be good. You can't just send us anything, but if you're good and we feel like there's potential, which, I mean, I don't know, it's got to be entertaining, or there's got to be some kind of angle of value.
And Matt, you just bought a new house, right?
Yeah.
So when we start a BAM headquarters, are you going to move to the States, or what do you?
I'm supposed to buy an Airbnb. So I bought a house and I'm going to buy an Airbnb as well. But
double buy.
Yeah. So maybe instead of an Airbnb, actually I can still buy an Airbnb, but just do it in the States.
Buy a guest house
pay for itself.
Buy a guest house down, or a second home down here in Southwest Florida.
Isn't it cheap? Can't I buy like a condo there for like $400,000?
In Naples, isn't that the most expensive zip code in the world, Byron?
I just got an email saying Naples was, here it is, 26 places in the U.S. where it's now unaffordable to own. And
perfect.
Collier County, Florida, Naples is number 2. Boise City, Idaho is number 1.
But here's
Austin
the thing.
Was number 3. Austin was 3 and 4.
Here's the thing, and this is what Barstool has done as well. Like, they have people all over.
So,
yeah. Like, we can have a headquarters in Toronto. We can have and then we can all kind of use each other's spaces as for whatever. But is Naples, like, what are we talking there for a condo right now?
It depends. You're probably, $500,000. Anything that'll let your dog, have a nice little area to run in.
That's not.
Not compared to Toronto prices.
No, or LA. The shithole I'm in right now is probably 1.2 million, and I mean, we're renting.
I'm 50.
This thing was built in 1980.
I was 50 minutes away from Toronto, east of the city, and I sold my condo for $650.
Yeah. I mean, you're probably going to want something $650. I'm saying, you probably want something $650 or more here in Naples, even as a condo.
I'd want to Airbnb it because I'm obviously not going to be there all the time.
Yes. And so you can buy here in the States, where I don't believe I can buy in Toronto. Is that a real thing?
They're not allowing foreign buyers or something?
Yeah.
Is that legit, or?
It's starting. I don't know if it's in full effect yet. This is why we don't get the news from me, folks.
Yeah. We'll get that we'll break that down in the walkthrough.
Yeah, we'll break that down on
Byron, do your research, and then Matt and I will provide color commentary.
It sounds true to me. I'm just trying to.
No, it is there. It's definitely. I just don't know if it's in full effect yet. It happened in Vancouver, and it dropped the market by about 14%. Those are real numbers.
Oh wow,
folks. Yeah, I'm not just all. Yeah, okay, but that's about as. I read one headline today, and that was it. So. Come back tomorrow, and I might have some more answers for you.
Can me and Eric still come visit you and shoot a video, or?
I believe so.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. I don't know if they're letting any Americans anymore.
No?
I think it's solely, yeah. No, you can come anytime. But I do, my new house, whenever it's ready, because it's still not ready, it's going to have a sick podcast space.
Yes.
I actually got to walk through it. And it's a nice podcast room. Going to be honest, it's going to be incredible.
That is much needed. The setup, I wish I could show you guys. I have 40 Commission Impossible books, which is the comic book I wrote back in 2019 that sold 3 copies. Sitting behind my laptop, I'm sitting in a kitchen, literally on top of Miles's dog food. I have this crappy ring light right here.
Yeah.
And it is not an ideal setup.
No.
My fiance could walk in any time. You could hear everything. So as BAM blows up, and
if you're watching, you can see where Leonetti is. I mean, he's in a closet right now.
Yeah.
So
he's
funny
at the double
which I've done
right
before. I've done closet pods.
Well, the thing is my laptop is actually being held up by, fun fact, the Will Smith book. I can't bring myself to read it anymore. I was about halfway through, and I'm just kind of at a crossroads. So it's now propping up my computer. One of my favorite actors. It's a real shame, but yeah,
we've all been there. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, the Real Word is into, this will be episode 218 tomorrow. And before that, I had a show that was maybe 170 some odd episodes. And the amount of different sets and bad mic setups and bad lighting that I've had it's just unimaginable, right? And the point is, if the content's good, you keep going, right? You got to record, you upload. And on the audio side, nobody knows the difference anyways, unless your audio sucks. But it's about staying consistent. That's what I love about Overask. When you guys started it, committed to this podcast, you just did it every single week. You make sure there's a good quality upload, something that people can get a huge takeaway from the podcast. And it doesn't really matter. You know, you guys, whether you're in a closet or not, Matt, you're still super dynamic. So,
although I will say that the video quality has increased our views exponentially. So anyone who is thinking of starting a podcast and you want to be more YouTube facing, getting an actual HD camera, which took us, I don't know, 9 months, 10 months to actually do a year, has been a complete game changer for our YouTube views, because I think you don't want to watch people on like a blurry footage. So you're right, Byron, in the sense that the mic is the most important for audio, but you got to have a good camera and it's got to look good, which it costs next to nothing to start a podcast up.
But at the same time, I mean, you know, we interviewed Sirhan, Jordan Cohen, Mauricio with nothing. With a $200 mic. Like, start it up, because you're never going to have all the equipment. It's like it starts with, oh, I need a camera, I need a mic, oh, I need, you know, this light here, oh, I need, and then by the time you actually start, you're, you know, 9 months out from when your original idea was. You're not even as stoked about it anymore. So
my studio is pretty dialed in, but Bobby can tell you that I'm still looking for angles to improve. I want a new studio. I want a bigger studio with multiple sets. So I'm always looking for ways to improve it. Bobby will come up to Canada and get you all straightened out. We'll send Bobby up there for 2 days, and
I don't know if you want that, Matt. I don't know if you want to hang out with Bobby for 48 straight hours.
You can bunk.
I've done it before.
We have a big house, Bobby, now, so it's actually 4 floors. So you can.
Bobby, who's not on screen, is producing the podcast for the people at home. It's
Bobby
not like
produces
just someone sitting here.
He produces the pods, but we can get Bobby to go up and help you set up the whole entire podcast, right? Dial it all in perfectly.
You should all come. I'll tell Nikki to go to her parents, and we'll just come. You can all come bunk out for a couple of days.
We should turn that into a step-by-step.
Sounds like hell.
BAM marketing blog of Matt Leonetti's podcast studio, the build out.
We should 100% do a couple blogs or videos that tell people how to start a podcast. There's a million of these out there.
That's actually a good idea.
I'm
setting up your podcast space.
Yeah. Setting up your podcast space, what to purchase, giving links, getting affiliates. I mean, there's a million blogs out there like that.
Okay,
already,
we're gonna
but we
do
can put
that.
our own
So
spin on it.
folks, look
It's
forward
an
to
idea.
that.
Exactly.
You guys should all legit come. You should. I'm really excited for. You should actually come.
How do we want to wrap this thing up with some serious value for everyone that's made it this far?
Well, if you made it this far, you know that we are launching BAM. We have launched BAM today. And the reason we are launching BAM is because we want to change the real estate industry for the better with media. We want to make you laugh. We want to provide value. But to provide a little bit further value, Byron right now is doing something extremely special with his videos. He is absolutely blowing up on TikTok and Reels. So Byron, what's the strategy behind that right now?
I'm not blowing up like Paige Steckling, but I'm trying to reach.
I've noticed you on TikTok, man. You're crushing.
You're popping up every time I open my phone. I have to see that mug, and I talk to you 45 times a day anyway. So how are you everywhere right now? What's going on?
It happened when Dan O'Neill was down here in Naples. We were on the golf course. He opens TikTok and boom, I was there waiting for him, haunting him.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I've really, since about January, I'd say, I've really focused in on how am I going to start reaching my non-followers. Okay. And so TikTok has really helped me do that on Instagram Reels, producing TikTok first type of videos. And I'm not like saying upload to TikTok, take the TikTok, put it on Reels, like with the watermark. I'm just saying the style of video, which is works to the TikTok algorithm, also works really well for your Instagram Reels algorithm. You want to grab the attention in the first 3 seconds. So having a strong hook that for me is going to probably be a little bit 50-50, meaning my hook is my style is going to likely hit with 50% of people, and 50% of people are going to be like, wait a minute, I don't know where he's going or if I totally agree with that, which causes the reaction to consume the rest of the 17 seconds, the rest of the 20 seconds. Now, where it gets really interesting is in the editing, if you can edit it in a way where you don't realize it, but you're looping back into the beginning, right? Mm-hmm. Where your close through the edit loops back into the beginning. I think that's something we're getting better at. Sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't.
For example, that would be like, you should invest in real estate, and then it should end like, and that's why you should invest in real, right? So,
yep.
Okay.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so the real blueprint to a great, if you're going talking head style, like I like to produce, it's a great hook, 3-second, 1-line hook, what's the meat in the middle, the bullet point, and then some type of close that wraps back into your hook. So it's a 3-step process on these TikToks, or Instagram Reels. And when you're doing a long form podcast like this, another thing that I've really tried to get better at as a podcast host is setting the guest up for the hook by giving them the hook as the question and then interjecting somewhere without interrupting, which is a lot harder virtually than it is in person, where I can reset the hook. So it gives the editor 2 different opportunities to pull from with a great hook, give the story, give the close in what's a long form conversation in a condensed, 20, 30, 40-second clip. So
this is phenomenal advice that Matt and I have been trying to implement the last, since you told me this advice like a month ago, Byron, is how can I land a quick question? Because I realized that my questions were very long-winded. I would, go on for 30, 40 seconds and then ask it, and then they would go. So there was no click. There was no hook of the question. So the clip would always just be the person talking. And like you said, the best clips are when all 3 of us, when Matt and I get to interject a little bit and they see that it's kind of conversational as opposed to just one person going off. And we had that in the Paige Steckling clips multiple times, and those absolutely crushed. So that is great advice for the people who are doing podcasts, is how do we set up your question, make it quick, let the person talk, and find a quick way to interject so it looks like a conversation.
When I go long-winded and I know like, I just went long-winded with my question, what they do on the radio is they'll just reset it. They went long-winded, and then it's almost like, boom, I'm resetting, raising the volume and dropping the hook and reaffirming the question. I did it with Spencer. You'll see it on if you listen to the Spencer Raskoff podcast that comes out Friday, somewhere I'm going a little on a tangent or whatever. And then I stop and I go, and I repeat his name, like in the middle of the podcast. I say, Spencer Raskoff, former CEO of Zillow. If you were the current CEO of Zillow, what changes would you make now? Right. Or whatever the question was. But that's an old school radio tactic where you have a guest and you've asked them 3 or 4 questions. You don't know if somebody got in and out of the car because radio is live, if they just tuned on the dial. So you'd say, after question 4, say Matt answers the question, here with Matt Leonetti, top agent in Toronto at the agency, boom, ask the 5th question. You're resetting the stage for those new listeners. And on a podcast, you want to use some of that old school radio tactic as a great host to set up your clips, because there's huge value in doing a podcast if you're going to extract Instagram Reels and TikToks from it.
Yeah, the clips are almost as important as the actual podcast itself, maybe more important.
Especially
Think about now
this.
When people are
that's
consuming
the commercial.
It's not just that. It's like people are just consuming Reels and TikToks as opposed to listening to long form content.
Think about this clip. If you're interviewing the principal of the local school in your community and you guys are having a great conversation, and then boom, you drop the name halfway through, like I did with Spencer, Mrs. Simon, if you were the superintendent, how would you make your job easier? Boom. That is a hook that people in the community that know that school are going to be like, well, how would she make the job? Or what could you do as, to help these teachers who have been through the struggle, right? But you reset it by dropping the name that everybody in that community knows because they've lived in the community for a long time. And they see that on their Instagram reel or a Facebook reel or a TikTok. It's like, whoa, I want to know what Mrs. Simon's reaction to that is going to be. Eric, you're going to have a Mrs. Simon pretty soon. Is she taking your last name, by the way? Or
yeah, she's taking my last name.
Yeah.
March 11th wedding. Everybody listening to this is invited. So
March 11th. Nice.
March 11th. Come down to Tucson, Arizona.
Eric's getting married next year. Is she going to hyphenate your last name?
No.
She's just keeping it. Just Simon.
Anne-Marie Simon.
That's a nice name, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Beautiful name. So nice Byron, you are a professional broadcaster, obviously. You have hosted a radio show. That's why he has these chops. Why don't you wrap this pod up for us and tell people
just before you do that, Eric?
Okay. Yes.
Just back to your content and blowing up on TikTok. You're posting 2 times a day now, right?
I'm 2 times. I'm probably going to go up to 3 or 4 on TikTok here pretty soon, but I'm consistently at 2. I'm pretty much consistently at 2 on Instagram Reels. And I've actually seen my reach continue to go up as I've been posting more. I was definitely posting once a day or less than that before I made this commitment in January to go all in on TikToks. And so, yeah, I'm about to go to maybe 3 or 4 a day. TikTok is the one place where you can talk about so many different things. You can post a lot. And if you've got the right hooks, your clip is going to reach an audience, and it's going to reach a huge non-follower audience. The same thing is happening on Reels though, too. I mean, when you look at the insights, the non-follower reach is way up when you lean into Reels. And
you bulk shot this, correct?
Yeah. So I'm doing 2 different, like if you're on my Reels or on my TikToks, you will see 2 different styles. If you see me with the headphones, that's a clip from a podcast, or if you, not necessarily because we do a lot of podcasts at these events, you'll see me in, some type of setting. So I guess not necessarily the headphones. The headphones are typically a podcast clip. And then there's other podcast clips. And then there's what I call my core TikTok content, which I am batch recording. The last time I did it, I got 75 videos done in a 4 to 5 hour window. The first time I did it, because I'm used to long form, it took me probably the same amount of time to get 40 videos. So it's a muscle that you will build, and if you focus in on that hook, reset, reframe the hook, reframe the hook, reframe the hook, you can get a lot done. And if if you want to really get serious about producing content short form, the way people are consuming it, then get serious about batch recording. So you always have uploads when you're planning for your next, recording session.
Yeah. Then you don't have to go through the scramble of what am I going to post today? Because that is devastating for content creators. I mean, I had this today,
well, here's where it gets
the Elon
fun.
Musk thing popped up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the Elon Musk thing pops up today. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you have a whole bunch of recordings batched and something like that happens, it's like, wow, I'm getting a third post today on Instagram because I already had the other 2 clips planned for today. And now I just get the benefit of a third clip on Instagram because something came to me. I can be creative in the moment. Boom. I like this. I'm going to run with it and post that. That's where it gets fun, where your extra ideas become extra content on top of everything you've already recorded.
Well, there you have it.
There you have it.
Little,
bam.
That is a massive amount of value.
Little
at the end of
taste.
this podcast
Little
right there.
taste.
Yeah.
Should I every comment I make on Instagram, should I just comment bam? Eric said that would be psychotic.
That would be psychotic. No,
I think
not from
bam.
the BAM account. No,
maybe from my own account.
Oh, from your own account.
I think bam with the little knuckles.
Explosion.
With the knuckles.
No, the knuckles. Bam.
If you write bam, I think the explosion emoji pops up.
Should we all get bam tattoos?
We should get bam.
Matt,
merch
get yours first, and
sure.
then I'll model after yours.
Eric, you're not allowed. You can't get tattoos, right? Or you said that one time.
I mean, I'm allowed to. I just can't be buried in a Jewish grave, which I don't know. I don't know if I want to be surrounded by.
Is that different from any other grave? What's the difference?
There's a bunch of Jewish people buried in the same grave.
The same grave.
Yeah,
I didn't know. I don't study graves. I'm hoping not to be in one anytime soon.
Yeah, well, obviously, a Jewish grave would be a bunch of other Jewish people in the grave.
Okay. Well, I'll start with a bam
your own
tattoo.
Individual grave.
Look, I don't know here.
I'm gonna get it.
We're not going to talk about.
I'm gonna get a bam tattoo across my chest, folks. So wait for that. It's gonna be that cartoon bam with the zigzag, yellow and red. You know what I'm talking about? I think it's the Zap logo, but it's gonna say bam. No, not the logo.
Okay, got it.
Just gonna say bam.
Like a comic book.
If we get you some drip, some QZ drip, Matt, bam, some QZs, would you rock that on the pod?
100%. If we can get
chain would be so
an iced out bam chain, I would rock that because I have an idea for another show. And I think a bam chain would be very well on that show. So
all right. Well, can we do the QZs until we go big time?
Yes. Yeah, we can do that until we can afford real 1 carat diamonds.
Beautiful.
Exactly. So buy the course, folks. Check out the course, and then we could rock the diamonds.
Yeah, if we got some diamond chains by next year, it's because the course did really well.
Exactly. Byron, thank you so much for joining Over Ask. Thank you for starting BAM with us. We are fired up. This is going to be a hell of a journey. And everybody here, check out brokeagentmedia.com. Follow Broke Agent Media on Instagram. Follow Byron. Follow Matt. Follow all of our shows. It's going to be entertaining and it's going to crush. So
if you're listening to this, go subscribe to the YouTube for sure. We are on the hamster wheel of endless content until the day Eric dies.
Yeah, this is putting us in a real difficult position here. It's not just posting memes anymore, everyone. This is for the long haul.
Sounds like Eric has his grave picked out. So
yeah, I do, exactly.
Let's keep him away from that as long as we can.
Yeah, keep me away from tattoos. All right, thanks.
Awesome, guys.
All right, thanks.
The Broke Agent presents Over Ask Podcast.